Welcome, everybody, to a glorious 29th of July, 2025, the year of our Lord. It's about quarter after 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. We just had a nice little storm go through to break off the 100-degree heating pad. A friend of mine texted me how nice it was out in Wyoming, and I responded with a screenshot with the what was it, about 97 at that time, and I told him the devil went down to Georgia, and he went back to hell because it was too hell wasn't as hot as it was in Georgia. It's been nuts here the last few days. It's going down about the end of the week. It's supposed to be 80, but you could fry the proverbial egg outside very easily. But anyway, let's get right to why you came here for. It wasn't to hear from me about talking about the weather. Well, weather here. New York City, New York City. Yes, New York City shooter targeted NFL headquarters, claimed to have CTE. The gunman who killed 4 people in the Manhattan office before killing himself was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but took the wrong elevator, officials said Tuesday. If you're going to go out and let's just be a lesson. Anybody wants to go out and shoot somebody. This is for entertainment purposes only, of course. At least get the right floor together. Have your plans together before you hit the button. You're like, oh, shoot, is it the 12th floor, the 23rd floor? But again, he could have had brain injury from concussion, so that's not out of the realm of possibility. Shouldn't mock the guy for it. Investigators believe Shane Tamura of Las Vegas was trying to get to the NFL offices after shooting several people Monday in the building's lobby, but accidentally entered the wrong set of elevator banks, Mayor Eric Adams said in interviews. 4 people, including off-duty New York City police officer Islam, were killed. Tamara, who played high school football in California roughly a decade ago, but never in the NFL, had a history of mental illness, police said. A 3-page note found in Tamara's wallet suggests he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Forgive me. The degenerative brain disease, we'll use that, has been linked to concussions and other repeated head trauma common in contact sports such as football, but it can be diagnosed only after someone had died. In the note, Tamara repeatedly said he was sorry and asked that his brain be studied for CTE. According to the police department, the note also referenced former NFL player Terry Long, who was diagnosed with CTE, and the manner in which Long killed himself in 2005. The note accused the NFL of concealing the dangers to players' brains for profit. There's been a lot of that. That is not something that hasn't. If you're a sports guy, you know that's been talked about for years. New York Post reported Tuesday that the note also mentioned League of Denial, a PBS documentary about concussions in the NFL, and the Fenari brothers, an apparent reference to ESPN reporters Mark Fenari, Wada, and Steve Fenari, who wrote a book released alongside the documentary. It also mentioned several prominent doctors who have studied concussions. In response to ESPN, the medical examiner's office said the medical examiner is investigating, will share the cause and manner of death when available. An examination of brain neuropathy is part of the complete autopsy process. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell called the shooting, quote, an unspeakable act of violence in our building, saying it was deeply grateful for law enforcement officers who responded and the officer who gave his life to protect others. And Goodell, then if you study this, Goodell is a lot of guys do not like him. They very crooked in a sense. Here's another link on it. Gunman who killed 4 in New York was trying to get to NFL offices and claimed to have CTE, says officials. New York shooter Shane Tamara's apparent suicide note reveals he admires CTE documentary and prominent neuroscientists. Apparently, was it a CNN guy who said that immediately came out and said, "No, this was a white guy," and people were blasting him, saying, "Where do you get that info from?" Not to throw race in, but again, they did it first. CNN or MSNBC. One guy immediately blamed some white guy for doing all this. Former football players with CTE have turned to violence. This is from the New York Times. The gunman in Manhattan office shooting said in a note that he believed he had CTE, a degenerative disease linked by studies to repeated hits in the head. And this is why a lot of pros like Steve Smith was asked one time, when's he going to let his kid play football? And he said he's not till he's like 20 because of the abuse the kids take. And after what people ask me, well, why don't your son play? I go, I'm afraid what my kid's going to do to your kid. I mean, kid's a boss. But yeah, there's a big problem with that from well, the kids, they don't know how to properly tackle too. So you end up hitting the heads and you start getting concussions at a young age, and it obviously gets worse. That's why Luke Kuechly ended up retiring early because he knocked himself so badly on the field that he started crying on the field because he had no clue where he was. It scared him. Where am I at? CTG for a moment. I think they're going to have a list of others on here. Maybe not. In 2021, Philip Adams, a former NFL cornerback who had returned to his hometown in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 20 minutes east of me, shot and killed 5 people and died by suicide. Mr. Adams had struggled to find work after his professional career fizzled and had been displaying increasingly erratic behavior. In a sense, you can see that a lot in 2017. Mr. Hernandez, Aaron Hernandez, former New York Patriots star tight end, who was found guilty of shooting and killing an acquaintance, later killed himself in prison. In 2017, Mr. Hernandez was diagnosed with a severe form of CTE. Junior Seau, yeah, I forgot about it. I remember to see Andre Waters, remember him, Dave Dorson, Junior Seau, and other former football players that killed themselves with guns. Mr. Dorson and Seau appeared to deliberately shoot themselves in the chest so that their brains could be studied. Dorson and Tamara left a note asking for their brain to be studied. Ghislaine Maxwell, let's get back in the days of our Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell's life may be at risk in prison, says author. That's why she's asking for immunity and protection and all that. And as I don't have this pulled out because it's just going to, extra 3 minutes of, everything's in the show notes. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hooked on phonics. I can count. Check this clip out. This is from 2018. No, this is not from 2018. Derek interviewed him in 2018. This is from a couple of days ago. Forgive me, on MSNBC. This is Bradley Edwards, the attorney for Epstein victims, expressing his disgust that Trump might cut a deal with Maxwell. He says it's a slap in the face to victims. Also acknowledges he might be too trusting of Trump. Reason why is because Maxwell perjured herself multiple times when she got arrested. He brings that up because we can't trust a thing she says. Yeah, we're going to give her full immunity. And she could be the kingpin of this whole organization, but they're going to give her everything just for names that we don't know if it's real or not. Again, the link is underneath already in the show notes for you. Overwhelmingly good cause exists to expedite. Trump wants to put Rupert Murdoch under oath right away after filing massive defamation suit against Wall Street Journal over Jeffrey Epstein report. The FBI leaders, quote, can you picture Trump saying this from the other day? They have no idea what they're doing. The casualties of Trump's purge speaks out. Michael Feinberg had not been planning to leave the FBI, but on May 31st, he received a phone call from his boss asking him about a personal friendship with the former FBI agent who was known for criticizing President DJT. Feinberg, an assistant special agent in charge at the FBI's field office in Norfolk, Virginia, realized right away that he was in the crosshairs of the Bureau's leadership at an unusually chaotic time. If his 15-year career at the Bureau was coming to an end, he wanted to depart with at least some dignity rather than being marched out the door. By the following afternoon, he had resigned. Secret Service agent protecting Trump tried to sneak wife on a transport plane to Scotland. Now, if you don't know, DJT went out to Scotland for the last couple of days. He's on his way back. Apparently, that's why the whole everyone's posting videos of him walking out with his grandkids. Breaking. Trump's walking with his kids. Everything's breaking to the cheerleaders online. Pam Bondi takes revenge on Trump on Judge. Pam Bondi takes revenge on Judge Trump absolutely hates. I think there should be a comment between Judge and Trump. I'm no English major, no grammar Nazi. I think there should be at least a pause. Revenge on Judge Trump is the guy's name, Judge Trump. I mean, Bondi takes revenge on judge, comma, that Trump absolutely hates. The Department of Justice is targeting Judge Boasberg. He first appeared on MAGA radar in March after blocking the Trump administration's invocation of the wartime 1798 Alien Enemies Act that to indiscriminate deport men Trump claimed were Tren de Aragua gang members to El Salvador. So again, if you don't, it's the Lincoln idea. You don't kowtow, you don't follow suit, you'll go to prison. Cowgirl Christie puts on pony show to suck up the Trump wannabe. The Secretary of Homeland Security found time to go horseback and riding in Argentina with President Javier Milei, security minister. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Because a judge from Trump absolutely hates. Sorry, I'm just now getting around to seeing people like comment. So I'm usually hyper focused on what this is. That's all in the corner of my eye. Trump administration urges federal employees to talk religion at work. Now, what flavor religion? I mean, his spiritual director or some, I don't know what described that lady up there, but federal employees can display religious items at work, pray in groups while not on duty, and encourage coworkers to adopt their faith according to guidance released Monday by the Office of Personnel Management, which manages the federal civilian workforce. In a memo titled Protecting Religious Expression in the Federal Workplace, OPM Director Scott Kapur said that the government workforce should be a welcoming place for employees who practice a religious faith. All are welcome. Can they just take those signs and put them there? Powell under siege as Fed plans to stand pat on rate cuts. So there's going to be no rate cuts. Inflation's still going. Housing has gone. If you're looking at housing, there's Reventure app just had a video yesterday. South of Atlanta, excuse me. And he was actually saying if you're in that area, it's a good time to buy. You can get he called it a mansion for about $450,000. Now it's not in Atlanta. Atlanta's not going down. Big cities like that probably won't be going down, but the outskirts are. Rent definitely is not going down. Forget Black Friday. Economic anxiety is leading to Christmas in July. And this has been going on all month. I heard about that the other day, and I was going, what do you mean? I can't remember the name of the movie. They talked about Christmas. It was a Santa Claus movie. It's a Christmas 2. And he was making fun of that. But now it's literally in July. That movie's turned into reality. Christmas in July. People are starting their holiday shopping earlier this year using summer sales from retailers like Amazon and Walmart to save time and money. Zelensky allows Ukrainians over 60 to join military as war stretches on. Cue the War Pig song. Yes, it wasn't bad enough that it conscripted people under 18. I think it was 16 about a half a year ago. Now they're getting anybody that has a heartbeat, you're allowed to join the military. We're getting destroyed out here. And Zelensky is not helping that at all by pretty much just try helping kill anybody that's in Ukraine by doing this. UK will recognize Palestinian state in September unless Israel agrees to Gaza ceasefire and other conditions, which Israel will never agree to any ceasefire or other conditions that Israel has not approved. And then they still won't agree to any of that. They've broken every ceasefire and agreement they have put together. Summary: Kern Starmer says the UK will recognize Palestinian state at a UN meeting in September. He says the plan will go ahead if the Israeli government takes, quote, substantial steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza, including a ceasefire. In response, President Benjamin Netanyahu tells Starmer he rewards Hamas and punishes its victims. Because anytime you say that, hey, you're not supposed to starve humans, or how about you don't shoot kids in the head twice while they're trying to eat some rice, you're immediately a Hamas supporter. About 140 countries formally recognized the Palestinian state, and last week France pledged to do so at the same UN meeting. Earlier, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said more than 60,000 Palestinians have now been killed since Israel's offensive began. should be tied to Israeli terrorist attacks began. The UN-backed food security body also said, quote, the worst case scenario of famine is currently playing out in Gaza. Israel insists there are no restrictions on aid deliveries and that there is no starvation. You know what crazy thing that's going on too is I've seen there's quite a few people that are still taking pilgrimages to the Holy Land, church-sponsored pilgrimages. While all this is going on, I honestly have no clue how that happens. Who's signing up? You know what? I can't wait to go to the war zone and sign me up. Why can't we just wait like 5 years, 10 years? Obviously, they're not going to let us fly in about 10 years due to that PDF I have. But still, I mean, it's just kind of a head scratcher. You're like, you really want to go to the Holy Land right now? There's a lot of other places that aren't getting bombed. Why do you want to go so badly there? MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you're nasty, is the first Republican lawmaker or Congress critter to call Gaza crisis a genocide. Ms. Greene is the first Republican in Congress to use the term to describe the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza 2 years after she led the push to censor a Democrat for speaking out against conditions there. Well, sometimes the wind shifts. But hey, glad that she's come around to that idea. More people should. Gaza famine. To be killed by an airstrike is easier than watching your children starve. I assume that probably, not that I would want that, I assume that probably is right. Amid a man-made famine, starving Palestinian families face the unthinkable. Children and the elderly begging for bread, parents praying for dead, and the world watching in silence. There's the mother of a 14-year-old Palestinian who died of starvation, mourns beside his shrouded body at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza Strip, July 22nd. Trump issues fresh nuclear threat to Iran because, why not? The U.S. president has warned Tehran that restarting uranium enrichment could trigger another round of airstrikes. There's going to be a time when the bully is going to get punched in the face. If anybody does, don't, I'm down here in North Carolina. Don't aim your missiles here. Yes, they're real. How Germany is preparing cockroaches for warfare. They don't call this clown planet for nothing. Germany is quietly changing the future of warfare with cyborg cockroaches, AI drones, and autonomous submarines. As Europe redefines defense, is this bold pivot a stroke of strategic genius? I just saw a report talking about how you could tell something was written by AI. You see these things called the M spaces. I think it's called M spaces. Let me look it up. The exact framing again. Name word. Nope, that's the wrong one. There it is. M dashes, because they're the size of an M. And there's a video online called I Can Spot AI Writing Instantly. Here's how you can too. Now that I've seen that video and the guy goes through many different ways of doing that, I'm like, that's why I started laughing. The M dashes, that right there. And he goes, if you look at your keyboard, there's no M dash. So AI uses ChatGTP and a lot of others use that a lot. I think you can do it with option control. I have to look at the video again. Option control something will let you create an M dash. And it's funny that they're talking about AI with all these M dashes. You have to be there. ChatGTP, who we're just talking about, passes the I am a robot test. I'm not a robot test. A terrifying step towards AI developing a mind of its own. Now robots are doing the human. The artificial AI has become so sophisticated that it's apparently no longer distinguishable from its human counterparts. The newest generation of ChatGPT has ironically devised a way to pass the online verification test designed to stop bots from accessing the system. The assistant dubbed ChatGPT agent was designed to navigate the internet on the user's behalf, handling complex tasks from online shopping or scheduling appointments, per an OpenAI blog post announcing the robot's capabilities. ChatGPT will intentionally navigate websites, filter results, prompt you to log on securely when needed, run code, conduct analysis, and even deliver editable slideshows and spreadsheets that summarize its findings, they wrote. Yes, apparently these omnipresent bots are even replacing us in the internet surfing sector. Yay! Tornadoes, monkeys, and towering flames. How the spear plans to bring the Wizard of Oz to life. Senior executives from the Las Vegas attraction are recreating key moments from the film inside the venue at the same moment they happen on its massive screen. All righty then. Kids who get smartphones before the age of 13 face skyrocketing suicide risk, study warns, and parents who give their kids smartphones before the age of 13 probably have a black eye from anybody that has two working brain cells and sees said kid under 13 with a smartphone, because that parent probably just punched out the other parent for being a complete idiot. Somewhere that's written in that. I think that was parenthetical right there. Sorry. In a nutshell, study tracked over 100. Clown Planet News is for entertainment purposes only. Study tracked over 100,000 people aged 18 to 24 to examine the effects of childhood smartphones ownership on adult mental health. Those who got smartphones before age 13 showed much higher rates of suicidal thoughts, aggression, and emotional struggles. Girls were especially affected, with 48% of those who got phones at age 5 and 6. Who in the world is giving somebody a phone of reported suicide thoughts compared to 28% at age 13? Researchers urge policy changes, recommending age restrictions, mandatory digital literacy training to protect developing minds. Great giggly moogly. Who's getting a kid a cell phone at 5? What do you call it? I mean, my kid walks around with a plastic box that looks like that she pretends is a cell phone because she sees her mother on the cell phone making a call. So she pretends to do that and the dials an imaginary number. She doesn't have the iPhone 14 or whatever is out there. In a digital age, old-fashioned watchmaking schools, including the new one for Rolex, are in demand. Good. It's always good to see back the old school stuff come back in time. One of California's largest cities is on the brink of a trash nightmare. San Diego, which means, according to Ron Burgundy, something else, is new. His new trash fee has been in the works for years. Originally approved in 2022 via Measure B, which amended the 1919 rule known as the People's Ordinance that forbade a collection of waste removal fees. As of July 1st, 2021, the new law allows the city to charge for its trash services to eligible households. The fee is $43.60 a month, or approximately $523 per year for 95-gallon bins, according to the city's website. Thousands of property owners are scrambling to secure their own pickup arrangements. Apparently, one of California's biggest cities has axed this public promise of free trash pickup for residents. You can pay for to get your own trash. If you can't bring your own trash, go pay somebody to do it then. Does traveling wreak havoc on your gut? Here's how to avoid an upset stomach. Experts weigh in. This is the health section. Experts weigh in on how to best protect your gut and yourself when you hit the road. Let's see. One of the common GI problems, diarrhea, which affects anywhere from 30 to 70% of travelers during a 2-week period, depending on the season of travel. Again, most of this diet. Oh, yeah, here it is, right? Diet, constipation, particularly. Well, you're eating bad food usually when you're traveling. You're not eating exactly the good stuff, and you're probably not stopping to get good stuff to make good stuff on your own. So you're eating garbage throughout the time, which weighs havoc on your gut. Some good stuff to do. By the way, we got a book on this, me and Judson, on Herbs That Heal. I think it's going to be called, coming out soon. Hey, check it out. Mushrooms help your gut, and get the right mushrooms, obviously, reishi, cordyceps, things like that, lion's mane. Get the tincture, make your own tinctures, get the tinctures on that. That helps your gut big time. Why this striking jellyfish is suddenly all over the Texas coast. While their sting is mild for humans, their presence isn't harmless. I remember seeing a bunch of those in Charleston, Folly Beach. There's an island out Folly Island. Go right, and there's an island all over the island, and we would just pick it up and throw them in the water. A striking jellyfish is turning in the Texas coast. A dome-shaped, semi-transparent bell covered with bright white dots, known as the Australian white-spotted jellyfish, stands apart for more delicate jellies native to Gulf waters. It is native to the Western Pacific, but has spread to new regions, including the Gulf of Mexico, by hitching rides in ballast water from cargo ships, according to Jace Trunell, a marine biologist and director of community engagement at our Heart Research Institute. Although their sting is mild and usually unfelt by humans, their presence isn't harmless. The invasive jellyfish outcompete native species, including shrimp and juvenile fish, by devouring massive amounts of plankton and other tiny organisms. Yes, you can read more of this, especially if you're in Texas, in the show notes. Mysterious message from Moses found in ancient Egyptian mind could prove the Bible true. Thank you very much. Experts share ultimate fat burning workout that could transform your health, and it only takes a minute. It's called sprinting, or high impact, intense resistance. Oh, there it is. High impact sprinting usually involves short by intense efforts lasting anywhere between 15 seconds to a minute. So if you think of like a track, sprint the straightaway, jog the turn. Sprint the straightaway, jog the turn. Professor Katie Hirsch, the exercise science expert at University of South Kakalaki, believes the sprinting is one of the best things I say that because I got my degree came from exercise science at University of South Carolina, Aiken. And I went to University of South Carolina, Columbia afterwards to get into the master's program, and they laughed me out, saying pretty much they didn't like any of their sister colleges. And we had a couple choice words to each other back then. Let's see, West by God, Virginia. It will destroy this place. Tucker County residents fight for future against proposed data center. As a little-known company has proposed a data center and natural gas plant in the tourism destination known. Notice this, the M space, known for its natural wonder and outdoor recreation, M space. M dash, residents are left with questions, mounting concerns, and fewer answers. Listen, again, I can't stop seeing the M dashes everywhere now from that video. So I wonder how many of these, remember, Sports Illustrated came out saying most of the articles they wrote are from ChatGPT articles, so probably the same thing in this. Again, look at your keyboard. You can't find an M dash. Speaking of AI videos are becoming increasingly lifelike, threatening our grasp of concept of reality. Anybody want to play a game? There's about 118 about watching. All right, in the chat, let me know if you can tell which ones are real and which ones are fake. I can hear the voice, but you can just look at the voices are pretty good, but just think which ones, eyeball test. Which one's is real and which ones are fake? Which one's AI? As a news channel, the first one was a TED Talk. This one is a guy walking on the road. There's 10 of these. I think he's picking up a snake or something like that. Again, sorry, I don't know how to download this one. Interview after a game. I got almost all of them. I missed 2. Yeah, I missed 2 on this. But if anybody wants to take a jab at it, go for it. There's 3 more to go. Anybody at all? And let's see, one more. This one right here. Sorry, you saw all 10 of them. Which ones do you think? Which ones were, let's see, which ones were real? If you can think of that one, which ones? Do the real ones. Which one do you think was real? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so just keep it going along here. 1 is AI. Number 1 is AI. That's an AI video. That's a real one. Came from somebody's Instagram. This is an AI newscast. Yeah, this is like, can you tell what's real? This is AI. That was an easy one, I thought. Here, see number 5, which was one. This was real. This was a film. I think it's from his YouTube channel. That's fake. This is an easy one because the letters, usually if I've tried this with a couple of sports ones, the letters never work out right. But look in the background, people kind of fade away. This is an AI. See, what's the next one? This is real. from an Instagram influencer. This is real. And last one, this actually is an AI video of a guy playing a video game. Believe it or not. But yeah, it just shows you how what you're going to see on TV, question everything, because what you're going to see is going to be, you don't know what's real and what's not anymore. Vatican to host hot priest influencers who spread word of God to younger faithful as numbers slump. So apparently mostly this is in Europe, I think. There's a Father Giuseppe Fazzari, a bodybuilder, silver fox from Brescia, Italy, who has more than 60,000 Instagram followers on Instagram, some of whom are thirsty for more than just communion wine. I hope it brings people closer to church. There's a lot of curiosity. 58-year-old uses a large online pulpit that not only flexes tattooed biceps and toned chest, but also spread the gospel and personal reflections of life. Most of his followers between the age of 25 and 55. The rugged, handsome Father Cosmo Shenna, Italy's most beloved priest, is seen with a flock double in size since he started seen as flock double in size since posting on TikTok and Instagram, the British outlet reported. 46-year-old from Brindisi, Italy, boasts over 454,000 followers on Instagram, where he posts tons of photos of himself flashing his pearly whites and manicured beard. Father Ambrosio Mazza, 37, active lifestyle priest of duties. He's a guitar playing, bike riding poet. He gives more than 460,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok glimpses. So apparently that's the way we're supposed to evangelize now. And here's Leo 14 tells visual missionaries they're having a big thing out in Rome. Obviously, I think mine went to the junk mail to use tech to build a network of God. They have speech Tuesday to influencers and digital missionaries gathered in Rome for a special 2025 Jubilee event organized for them. There's a lot of content creator stuff I don't get invited to, which I don't know if I'd go anyways because I'm happy not traveling anywhere. Josh Hawley bill would give millions of Americans $600 each from tariff revenue. Here, file this in this just insanity thing. You know, we're $37 trillion in debt, and this joker wants to give everybody a bailout check, like the Rona check. I think the Rona check was $600 too, wasn't it? Anyways, $600, which gets you really nowhere anymore. Pays you maybe a couple bills for you. I mean, just in the IRS and the income tax, like you guys keep saying. Benjamin Netanyahu, there is no starvation in Gaza, no policy of starvation in Gaza, and I assure you that we have a commitment to achieve our war goals. Meanwhile, in reality, Israeli forces killed 98 Palestinians in Gaza over 24 hours. Among the dead were 25 Palestinians killed by the IDF while seeking aid. 2 Israeli human rights groups say Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Again, and just so we get the other updates on antiwar.com. Netanyahu, the proposed plan to annex Gaza. Trump acknowledges there's a real starvation in Gaza, which he's totally fine with ethnic cleansing, though. Israeli rights groups say Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Israeli force 112. I already said that. 14 more Palestinians starved to death in Gaza. Bibi says no starving going on. Israeli settlers launched attack on Christian West Bank village in Tibet. Trump threatening renewed attack on Iran. Violence continues in Syria's Suwadi. 1,448 confirmed dead. Nobody cares because no one's talking about it online. Yemen announces phase 4 of maritime blockade against Israel. Trump, Russia has 10 to 12 days to end war. Okay. North Korea says no reason to meet with the South. And again, if you want to go check out more going into this, they'll be obviously just in the show notes or check on antiwar.com. He's also on Twitter, so if you want, he posts on there daily. More on health. The new male birth control pill just passed human safety testing. I don't know what that means. Medicine is called the YCT 529. It is designed to temporarily stop sperm production, preventing pregnancy. I guarantee that it won't backfire on anything there. In the opposite way of things, if you eat watermelon seeds, or increase sperm production, fertility rates go up. Notice I did this on my Sensus Fidelium gardening channel, a whole thing on watermelon. And you notice if you go into the store, where's my tinfoil hat? Somewhere around here. You notice you can't find a watermelon with seeds. Not only is the watermelon without seeds a dead fruit, you can't grow it again, but it's got to be GMO something. You got to get in, you got to somehow make it so it doesn't produce a seed. So it's already a fake food in a sense. But the diabolical part of it, when you read that, I'll read up on watermelon seeds and male fertility, you'll start wondering, I wonder if there's a thing, even you can't go to a farmer's market and find seeded watermelon. You have to grow your own. So it's something odd about that whole situation, I think. Here's some True Stream Media. If they could tax sunlight, they would. Well, they could, so they did. This is from 1700s history. The window tax, when England taxed sunlight. In 1696, King William III's government decided to tax homeowners based on their window count, effectively put a price tag on sunlight. There's a part of it right there. There's a vision of the repeal of the window tax. Hello, fellow. We're glad to see you again. In the future, the rich people will have access to sunlight. Attack drones will be deployed to select U.S. schools to stop school shooters in emergencies by Campus Guardian Angel, a company funded by U.S. military and defense contractors. Kind of played this. Was it one of the first Compliners I came back with, or it was with Rick on News from the Pew? One of the two. He talked about and I'm back. Sorry about that. I've actually heard people say this happens before. Last America Vagabond, I listen to quite often. He said that this has happened to him many times when StreamYard just craps out and gets you rebooted. All right, so yeah, I've talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and it come out of the ceiling type deal, and again when it's with the facial rec and all this, it's kind of weird and could be used against you many times. It starts out as, hey, this is good, and it turns out bad. Steve Cunningham, I wonder who that guy is. I don't like that dude. For some reason. The AAP is trying to get rid of personal, hungry, is trying to get rid of personal and religious vaccine exceptions for school children in all 50 states. And here, the family doctor we are on subscription with, he sent this to us on a Spruce account. Routine childhood immunizations against infectious disease are an integral part of our public health infrastructure to provide direct protection against immunized individual, indirect protection of children and adults unable to be immunized by reducing spread of vaccine preventable diseases in the community. All 50 states, District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico have regulations requiring proof of immunization as a condition for child care and school attendance as a public health strategy to protect children in these settings, and to secondarily serve as a mechanism to promote timely immunization of children by their caregivers. Although all states and district of criminals have mechanisms to exempt school attendees from specific immunizations for medical reasons, the majority also have a heterogeneous collection of regulations and laws that allow non-medical reasons for exemption. The AAP supports certification of immunization to attend child care and school as a sound means of providing safe environment for attendees and employees of these settings. The AAP also supports medically indicated exemptions to specific immunizations as determined for each individual child. The AAP advocates for the elimination of non-medical exemptions from immunizations as contrary to optimal individual and public health. My doc says, hopefully RFKJ will step up on this, but I don't have the confidence in him. In sports, WNBA game is halted after a player's wig fell off, was pulled off, it looked like. And of the incident. I would have been that fan. First, I wouldn't have been there because I would never get paid money to go watch terrible ball, but I would have died laughing, something like that I saw in front of me. And in the words, moment of Zen, Angel Reese, y'all make 1,400 a week. I make 1,400 in 7 days. Good night, everybody. Anyway, God bless you for hanging in there and taking us went a little 10 minutes, a little extra long. Like, subscribe, all that. We had another video. I think I told you that yesterday, taken down by YouTube. So help the algorithms, comment, hit the bell, all that jazz, please. Check out the martyrswalk.com. It's the Catholic Boot Camp. And also to beat YouTube in general, check out censusfidelium.tv. It's where I got the app. And by the way, I have a thing on there banned by YouTube underneath there. So check that all out. Thank you. And we will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you.